Hey guys, you're listening to episode 9 of Buffer Buddies. We're watching Spaceballs, actually on like the 30th anniversary, which we did not plan at all. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. That was like a great little like mishap. But tonight we have a slightly different cast. Tiffany and Julia couldn't join us for various reasons. So we actually have a new person. We're joined us with Freight.
Hey, do the Rolling 20s weekly podcast for comic book news. How's it going?
And what's up? This is Game Dork, the Game Dork Plays, also known as Nonsense, aka Dork Genius. So, woo.
And this is Pseudoscopic. I am a British freelance writer.
And
Don't laugh at
Rest in Peace 120 or Recipes 420. I'm a filmmaker and a streamer.
Oh, I guess that Yami's silent. He's our silent partner. All right, I'm going to start the movie. I just thought it was really funny because, like, I don't ever add that I'm an American to anything that I do.
Yeah, I know, but everybody else is American, so you know.
It's for some reason
I'm sure they're gonna guess it anyway, but I just felt
Canadian.
the need.
Yeah, it was
No,
just like
you're Welsh.
I'm not like, hey,
I'm not Welsh, okay? I'm not Welsh.
I'm just never like, hey guys, I'm from UpDownLeftDie, an American Twitch stream. Also, I think your voice like gives something away.
No.
He felt the need to clarify just in case.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, I want to treat your audience as if they're dumb. I don't really. I love them. I love them all. Each
Just
and every
wants to
one
make
of
sure we know the difference between British and drunk. That's all.
them. That's very true.
I had a
And
question.
they're British and tired, you know.
So I had a question, but I was going to ask. But before we do that, let's quickly get out of our way. What's everyone's snacks? If everyone has snacks, I got popcorn and I got my usual Arctic Zero ice cream, and then I made my pre-workout taste exactly like Blue Icy, so it's really like I'm at the movies. I got ice cream, popcorn, and a Blue Icy.
You suck, Jared! You suck!
Free workout. He's doing bench pressing this film.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
I've
my
already
kid,
eaten mine.
one of my kids was celebrating her 4th year birthday party today, even though she doesn't turn that today. But so I have a bunch of candy with me right now. So haha.
But
I
not-
went old school, man. I grabbed a bottle of water and organic ice cream from Simple Truth.
That's pretty basic. Although water and ice cream is amazing.
Yep.
I already finished mine because you took
Yeah,
too long.
managed to flush. So
What was your snack?
It was a Magnum double chocolate ice cream.
oh, dude. See, you just said ice cream, and in that accent, it sounds wonderfully exotic.
Right?
Well, as opposed to your organic ice cream. I'm sorry.
Mine just sounds stupid and cheap. So I think we've covered that's exactly who I am.
It sounds more pretentious. I only go for the organic stuff.
And they're gonna go for the long shot.
Look, you get the organic stuff, I'm less likely to be flatulent. So
I like how you say, never mind.
So, Freight, you're new.
sounds like me and
This is your
Pseudo need
first
a date later.
What was that?
Like
He's
Pseudo and I
gonna
want
buy
a date
me
later.
breakfast. I'm gonna buy him dinner.
Oh,
Suit the time zones and everything before.
Starting a cross-continental love. So, what you need to know about my stupid self?
yeah. I was gonna say you're new. You're new to the podcast. People don't know. Like, this is the first time anyone's heard you. I don't know if you want to give a little, like, tell us a little about yourself. I was kind of interested. You said you do the Roll20 podcast.
The Rolling 20s. I do a weekly comic book
Rolling
news
20s.
and review podcast. Yeah. The whole thing was started by me and a couple friends, and we're all D&D nerds, so it's one of the few names we could agree upon. I kept telling them the name of the show should be Down the Bat Pole, but they're like, no, too gay.
Yeah. But when I hear Rolling 20s, I kind of it makes me think of the Roaring 20s. I think of,
That's
It is
funny.
a bit of a triple entendre name, yeah.
I thought it was a podcast
It's
about
actually-
like speed dancing.
Ironically, since I'm black, it actually is a gang, which is weird.
So?
The Rolling 20s is actually a gang.
Yeah, you ain't never
Oh,
going to see
gang.
me down in a lowrider threatening people. No way.
Just don't rep that in the hood and make it.
He's on his way.
Yeah, you're wearing like that T-shirt, and then you just like, get shot.
They're gonna be like, "Where you?"
Yeah, sooner or later, you gotta tell me which colors are and are not allowed.
That's actually probably a pretty good thing to keep note of for if you do any branding products.
Yep.
I saw this film in the theaters, and I remember this scene of him walking down the hall thinking, costume that's very off.
Like, as a kid, how huge was this for me? I'm trying to remember.
This was not a huge release in the theaters.
I remember still watching this somehow, and then just loving this movie to death. Like,
I'm a little too young to know a theater release for this film, unfortunately.
Yeah, same. I didn't realize that it was 30 years old. I was like, oh, that's an old movie.
I think I just carbon dated myself.
Wait, so what year was it released?
1987?
We're approaching planet Druidia, sir.
Yeah, see, so I was born in 84. That means, what was I, 3?
I already called
I don't know.
He knows everything.
Hey, Pseudo, I think this is your first time on the podcast as well.
It is,
Although
yes.
we know you quite well. Any podcast listeners, they're like, what the hell is this British voice thing going on? I don't know if you want to say a thing or two.
Got this
Well, I
ring from a
think
cereal box.
I've already clarified I'm British. You've now clarified I'm British.
That's all
Everybody
they need to
knows
know.
now, so
Yeah,
that's good.
okay,
That's all they needed to know, yeah.
That's the only
I'm like completely done.
You're the same as everyone else,
I'm-
except for you're British. Wow,
I'm
his
the
effects are
idiot
so
that puts
bad.
himself through hell.
Me and
Yeah,
Sue
you-
are the same person.
Oh, yeah. Me and Rest in Peace are the same person, which
Yeah, they're the
essentially
same
means
person.
that, you know,
You
I have been on the podcast before. Yeah.
you have been on the podcast?
Yeah, because Rest in Peace has been on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. I get the
We
joke.
don't have visual contact yet, sir, but we have it on the radar.
Who did the closed captioning for this film? Could they not spell Sam?
Very good, sir.
I feel like a lot of closed captions they use like a Google auto translate thing, and then they clean it up and they mess up a lot. Like they don't
Okay, because they use like a U in his name, and I'm sure
Yeah,
that there's
yeah.
no spelling of that off the internet.
Yes.
Because I use a lot of captions when I watch like TV, and I see that a lot, and I came to the conclusion that it's a lot of it, like it's a lot, like 99% is auto-generated, and someone just kind of quickly reviews it, and they miss a lot of little typos.
Right here.
And they probably also don't know how to spell anyway.
Yeah, they might also be foreign, trying to learn English or something like that.
1,000 years of fresh air.
I have to admit, I think that this is the single best spoof movie.
Princess, we can force
Yeah.
your father.
It's like the only
Yep,
spoof movie that like
agreed.
stands on its own, right? Like there's not too many people like, oh, let's watch that.
Saving planet
Well, it doesn't have 1,000 sequels. It pokes fun
Yeah.
at multiple movies without being completely out of context in itself as well.
It has its own story.
Exactly. Whereas you look at the later ones, like Scary Movie and everything like that, and they all seem to veer off into the completely wacky and stupid, almost
they're-
cutaways. They're not cutaways, but it feels like they are.
They're basically sketch comedies that revolve
Yeah.
around a single plot.
Like, think
Whereas
about it.
this
Family Guy did it,
story-
right? Family Guy
Yeah.
did it like exactly how the movie was, but they put in their own jokes in between those scenes to make it more funny. So,
Yeah.
and this was like its own thing, but just kind of like, let's make fun of the universe. And
Yeah, because
You know,
it
the
doesn't
aesthetic
follow
of
the
the character.
storyline at all, and that's actually
yeah, like
cool.
this was not at all any part of Star Wars. Like this whole, some key.
So he always finds a way to insert Jew jokes in some kind of subvertive way. You don't know you're laughing at Jewish jokes, but there they are.
To be honest, like this actually seems slightly like a wackier, possibly more dumbed down version of a Monty Python film.
I was gonna say like a bad episode of like a Fantasy Island or something, but yeah, I think you're on the right path. And Brooks always had something. He had a big axe to grind with religion. That was always a big part of his films.
Yeah.
It was ironic that Star Wars actually essentially became its own religion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it's more ironic that this film, it looks like they're getting married in something out of the Disney parks, and now Star Wars is owned by Disney. That's a strange line to draw.
Right. That's crazy. Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel now. And back when we first heard that, like, what was your initial thought? Like, oh, they're gonna.
I was
ruin
scared
it?
that they're going to ruin Star Wars,
Yeah, you think?
which so far they're doing good. But man, the controversy around the Han Solo movie has me worried.
I was actually more excited when I found out they bought Marvel because I was convinced that they would be the deep pockets where Marvel would finally play with their full lineup.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. But I'm a little like Star Wars didn't need that. Like,
Yeah.
but so far so good.
Well,
right?
Star Wars needed something different though because Lucas was so constrained by his own vision he couldn't see what was going wrong with his latter projects.
True. They needed not Lucas, but I don't think they needed Disney. And so I was like, oh no, Disney's going to Disneyfy it. But so far they seem to keep it pretty pure to its original intention.
Well, with Lucas, for example, he sat on those stories for around 20, 30 years himself, didn't he? And I don't know how much work he put onto those stories before he could actually make them a reality, but if he continuously worked on them from their conception, essentially it's like painting, obviously a painting, for that long. And then you get past that point where it was gold, and now you're just adding too much to it. It becomes like this mess instead of art. And I think that, as you say, he was constrained by his vision, so it definitely needed something to revamp it up. I do think that one of the main constraints of the newer ones, though, is they are too concerned with trying to make it too much like the originals, that it doesn't have its own vision yet. So hopefully it will gain its own vision.
Yeah,
as
so
it goes
it's
along.
hard. Yeah, it's hard to.
Well, that's probably where the Han Solo movie is going to be. Like, that definitely sounds like it's breaking into new territory, which could be good or bad.
Ooh, Rogue One, I think
It
is
sounds like
brilliant.
they wanna for sure get his personality right, and for those of us who remember, like the core of his character, like he was kind of a selfish, like he didn't really care about other people. So we have to see what made him into that. You know what I'm saying? And that older version of him.
Yeah, because
we haven't seen yet.
in episode 4, the entire movie, he's just like, when am I going to get paid? When am I going to get paid? Like, all the way up until the end. It actually sucks. Going to the Death Star was not part of his plan at all. Like, he was just taking them to like a different planet, and then he got like brought along on this crazy journey that almost got them killed. And like, could you imagine like walking like, oh, can you take me? You're an Uber driver, and someone asks you for an Uber, and you end up like almost assassinating the president. Like, that's basically what happened.
Oh, that is a movie, dude.
You know what though?
Like some kind of thing. Like I know Julia would have said that right now. Like, oh, we have to freaking make that skit. That would be awesome, dude. Like a whole crazy scenario just off of that.
You know, to back up for just a moment, though, I thought Rogue One was brilliant because for a series titled Star Wars, it was the first movie that felt like a war story. The first trilogy felt like Western. The second trilogy felt like a Greek tragedy. This was, and the Force Awakens felt like a redo of Episode 4. So Rogue One actually struck out on its own a little bit. The problem I have now going into the Han Solo film is that Ron Howard, yes, he's a great director. However, he has been so deep in projects with Lucas, including Willow, that I'm kind of worried that it might accidentally be a step backwards.
Well, to be fair as well, though, he can't impose his vision on it too much because there is only 3 weeks left of the shooting schedule unless they are to delay the film, which is unlikely. So it will basically be pickup shots and stuff. Do you know the reason why the original duo was fired?
There's conflicting stories, so I'm not absolutely sure.
I am almost certain, but I will just say I am not completely certain, but the official story as it goes, from my knowledge, is that their natural way of things are they seek out creative differences to then make their own films better, which is a brilliant way to work. However, they have a tendency to let the actors go and improvise, which then changes the story. And because Disney at the moment, with their Star Wars franchise, it's all connected, it's all continuity based, and everything that happens in this penned story will affect future installments. So they can't let people improvise too much, because if they improvise too much that it will change the story, then it will affect future continuity, which is a lot more money and a lot more time and effort and work on Disney's part. They just won't allow it. So they let go of the original people in favor of sticking to the script more than anything.
Well, that's a big faux pas on the part of the directors because it doesn't take much research to know that Disney has extreme tight control of Marvel Studios right now, and it's working to their benefit both critically and the size of their wallet. So they're not going to be in the mood to let people go cowboy on their projects right now.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that if they actually had that time, like it would probably end up a decent film. But you know what I'm saying? Like you said with Star Wars, like this is a world that needs to actually stick to its script, or the lore just basically falls apart for everyone. You know what I mean? Like people live by these.
Yeah, as much as people like the expanded universe, it is a narrative mess. So I think they were right to trim that way the hell back.
Yeah, so the remaining 3 weeks anyway is essentially going to be pickups and redesigning of the edit. That's all. So a lot of the work of the original duo is still going to go into this new film. But Ron Howard will be shaping it now more than anything. He'll just be molding what's already there.
Yeah, I think they are allowing a little bit of a delay in the schedule. The official announcement said that they will be resuming filming as of July 10th.
Right, I'm unsure.
Is it sad right now that I would really like to see President Scrooge in the White House instead of the current administration I'm dealing with?
Hell, I'd have him as Prime Minister.
This guy feels Farsight smarter.
Almost anybody
in today's news.
I don't even want to say almost anybody because there could be somebody worse.
I'm sure there's people that are worse, but that's not an excuse.
Yeah, if we actually manage to get an impeachment, I'm not sure we're going to be any better off.
Yeah.
This is terrible. Do something.
Guy's prime minister, I would laugh myself stupid. There's so many
if you want to
British
laugh
friends
yourself
right
stupid, then just look at the prime minister already. It's fine.
Yeah, I've been following Theresa May's exploits. Would be the kindest word I could use.
Be careful; she might run through your wheat field.
Well, maybe I can get her to start another election.
Oh, please, no more elections. I'm so sick of elections.
Not enough elections. We need 1,000% more elections.
Well, I know I'm all for democracy and everything, but my God, I just want to rest from it, Like I'm getting democracy fatigue.
Yeah, you should try it out here. As soon as we're done with the presidential election, the next word is, and now the midterms.
Oh, gosh.
Hello, President Scrooge.
I was going to say something, but I'm actually going to save it because we're trying to start another podcast, and it's a perfect topic for the other podcast.
Hey,
These
no
twins
fair.
were like the only
You
gag that
can't
didn't work for me.
mention it.
Right there, sir.
What?
On the left side of the screen approaching.
I can't.
I said-
I'm trying to hype up my other podcast that we haven't started recording yet.
Almost in our grasp. Tell Doc Council.
You haven't even started recording.
No, because
What do you guys think about No, go ahead.
no, go. I don't care. I don't want to talk about the other podcast that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah, I was about to trick you into.
Yeah, let's change
No,
topics. What are you going to ask?
What do you think of, which I think is sort of a good thing,
What's going on?
the of Josh Whedon actually taking up the rest of the Justice League movie?
I think that he could inject the humor that's needed for the DC universe at the moment because it's quite drab. I think that his handling of Superman will probably be distinctly better than what we've seen so far because Henry Cavill is a good Superman. He's just been inflicted by bad writing and bad directing, in my opinion.
Yeah, we were. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we were just having that debate a couple hours ago, and I don't know how much Joss Whedon can do. I mean, 100% of the movie was already in the can by the time he picked up post-production. He's doing some reshoots, but I don't even know if they can turn up the contrast on these movies so that you can actually see the blue in Superman's costume without changing the entire
And his
feel of
suit's
what's
gonna be
already
black
in the
at
can.
that. His suit's gonna be black, so that's almost ironic, man.
It's weird to have this
they
hour of
haven't
film, and all of a sudden it's
started
like, why does it seem like it's finally sunlight in Gotham City? What's going on?
And they haven't started shooting the second Justice League movie, have they? Or are they doing it back to back?
I do not know. I know the plan is for it all to be one story, but all they said was that Justice League was complete by the time that Zack Snyder left, and I really don't know what they meant by that.
Well, to be honest, if it is a case of part one is done but part two isn't, then that's completely fine because well, facing facts, Superman's probably not going to come into it until the very end of Justice League, and then return fully by part 2. Really,
But wouldn't
It still feels like, though, if there's going to be that big of a directorial disconnect, though, it almost seems like at the beginning of the second part of that, some fairy should fly in, wave a magic wand, and suddenly there's color everywhere.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, if you're doing a part 1 and part 2 movies, and you switch to like drastically different directors, isn't that going to be really weird? Like a really weird feeling. Just all of a sudden, you're like, and what if you're watching them back to back on DVD, and you pop in the second DVD, and it's like looks completely different?
Yeah, if it doesn't start with Glenda the Good Witch bringing you from black and white into color, it's totally ruined.
To be fair, in the filmmaking process, there's way too much emphasis on the input that the director has, in my opinion. Like, he does have a lot, or she does have a lot of input in the entire movie, and it would be classed as the auteur of the film. But
I was wondering, like, what does the director do exactly? Because it seems like they have their hands in every single aspect of it. And I go, that's cool, but also, like, for real? Like, why does that person have say over, like, a lot of aspects that don't seem to be like where they should be at? Like, shouldn't the person who wrote the movie have some say in like what things look like? Or like, I mean, I'm speculating. I don't know what they do or what they don't do, but it seems like they do a lot more than they should.
Think about. I was going to say, I guess the hard part of the director is they're given all the parts of the film. Then they got to take everyone's artistic vision, the writer, the photographers, the cameramen, the actors, and then they got to take all those visions, hone them down to one point that an audience can understand. Their job is pretty much take all the light going through this prism and make one blinding beam for the entirety of the crowd to get behind.
Sure.
Again, that depends on the style of the director, in my opinion. Like, to quote Steven Spielberg, right? He, in the making of Jaws, right? He, as a director, obviously he was involved in some of the writing, depending on when he's brought onto the project. If he conceives the project, then of course he starts at the very, very moment of conception. Sometimes directors come on board a little bit later, depending on when the studio brings them in. If they are there from conception, they will help shape the writing as it goes along. Then they will guide the story through visuals and work with other people like the producer is the one that carries the schedules through and everything from start to finish as well. So they'll work alongside the producer a lot of the time. Sometimes the writer will become the producer and help it guide it through until the very, very end. But it's the editing stage, for example, where a director can have a lot of input, but whether they should is a point of debate. And Steven Spielberg, if he had his way, would have put a lot more of the shark in, because he knows the arduous process they went into making that shark look as good as they possibly could. And the editor went, no. She basically turned around and said, you can't do that. We have to get the cut right. It has to tell the story properly. It has to build suspense. It has to be shocking. And she was adamant on it to the point where he backed down. And looking on it in hindsight, he agrees with her. He says that, he would have had more because of his own emotional investment in the process of making it. So he wants people to see all of this hard work come to life, whereas she was more focused on the story. She was more focused on boiling it down for the audience, their ultimate experience. So it's not just about one vision. Of course, it's going to be channeled through that one vision, but rightfully, they should be collaborating along the way to the point where everyone still has an input so that tunnel vision doesn't become a thing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like letting like the professionals do that job for me. So it's like with our logo, like our UpDownLeftDie logo, I like outsourcing that to someone else. Like, I could have made that, but I prefer letting a professional handle it who does that every day. I trust their vision a little bit more than my own vision in that aspect. So I kind of like that. It's like, you should let the speed grader, the professional speed grader, do the speed grading. Like, maybe you could do it too, but if that's all they do, they might have a better grasp of it than you.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Rest in peace. You got anything to input on that, given your experience?
What was that?
I mean,
Hi.
Who are you?
Nope.
no, I mean, not really.
Here, mister.
Oh, you're really quiet. Why is that?
That's my name. Barf.
Huh?
Barf?
You're really
You
quiet.
You're quiet.
I've like quiet. What do you mean? Just
I'm my own best friend.
Not speaking much, I think, is what you're looking for.
No, you're quiet as in volume. I could barely hear you, and you're turned up 25%.
Follow the dog. Mog. I'm a mog.
really?
Yeah.
What about my magic?
Yeah, you were quieter than earlier.
You quiet af.
This better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason my voice meter was turned down 12 decibels.
That's a lot.
I don't know why. Yeah, it is.
I don't know whether I summed the point up as best I could, because obviously there's a lot of information that goes into it, so I tried to boil it down as much as I could. Obviously, I don't want to take over the whole stream explaining the process of filmmaking. But I personally think that the director gets too much credit and is too much of a focal point, to the point where when Man of Steel first came out, for example, and everybody was like, oh, Christopher Nolan's producing it. Amazing. Yeah. His creative input might be minimal. He might just be carrying through the schedule and overseeing things every so often, just popping his head in and going, everything going all right? Need any help? No? Good, bye. And yet he was a huge
mom with the Rice Krispie treats and the tang.
And even then, I've been on film sets where the director wants one thing and the cinematographer is sitting there being like, well, I think that like this could be better than this, like feature film shoots. So the cinematographer also has, I mean, not as much say as a director, like nowhere near, but I mean, filming wise, the cinematographer also has a lot of control, creative wise and like camera angle wise. But going back to what Pseudo said about like, it depends on the person, because like, if you look at Tarantino does not step foot into the editing room whatsoever, ever. Like he has came out and said he does not come into the editing room because he does not want to, like you said, Jared, he doesn't want to interrupt like that process, and he trusts that his
someone that's a good editor and pay them lots of money to do like a really good job.
No, I mean,
now we will show who is in charge of this galaxy.
It depends. I don't know.
Hold it.
No, I mean, yeah, I can see it going from every angle. It's just like from a software engineering standpoint. Like,
what about like shots and stuff? Like, you know how like Martin Scorsese like has that one above shot that's so classic that we sort of like know he came up with type of thing. Like, what about stuff like that? Like, Pseudo, who do you think should get credit for like all these movies that are coming out when we see directors' names like the what's his names who are basically doing like Civil War and Avengers and stuff like that? Do we give them the credit, or like that's what I'm trying to figure out?
It depends. I mean, to be honest, what aspect of the film did you appreciate the most? Did you appreciate the character development, or did you appreciate how it looked? I mean, like boiling it down,
for me,
saying that you want one name on the front cover doesn't justify it for me. I think that the movie should stand as a title on its own, and then people should watch that film and go, "Okay, brilliant."
That did a good job. That did a bad job.
Yeah,
exactly. You got to look at it. You have productionists. You have production art, the art department of the film. You have the VFX. You have the like. I don't know.
Well, you've all sat through the credits to see the extra content that they put in. So look at how many people are involved.
Isn't a lot of like the shots somewhat determined beforehand with concept art?
What they do is they storyboard it most of the time. They won't necessarily stick to that storyboard 100% because obviously there are other factors.
Though, right? Like,
yeah, it depends on visualization, because some people don't necessarily use a storyboard. They will use a shot list instead. Sometimes they'll use both. It just depends on how they visualize it. I personally use both as well. But a lot of the time that storyboard will be crafted when the director and the cinematographer sit down, possibly the production designer as well, because they have input in how everything looks. So I mean, on the more stylistic things, like if you've ever seen the likes of a series of unfortunate events that's very stylistic in how it looks, that would have focused heavily on set design and everything like that, and how it looks and costume design.
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill, definitely. So it's all about getting these people around in like a writer's room, sitting down and then crafting this pre-production document, or documents, I should say, to visualize how the film will potentially look. But things will change along the way. They have to, because real life gets in the way, unfortunately.
And index cards are a director's best friend.
But it is interesting.
If I have a director that, as a friend, buy him index cards for his birthday.
He would laugh. That would be a good like gag gift.
Like, the way filmmaking.
Good to know.
People have put filmmaking in the same category as books. And that's the shame of it, because a book is crafted by an author, and then maybe an editor will help them along the way. And if an editor helps them significantly enough, then even the editor gets a credit on the front cover. But or it's designed beforehand, then that they won't get credit at all, and they know that before they take the job on. But when it comes to filmmaking, it's so collaborative.
Yeah. Because from my perspective, this like a movie is no different than a piece of like a large software application. So all this stuff is like weird to me, because it's like, oh, it sounds exactly like software engineering, yet it's structured so differently. Where why does the director have so much say where in software engineering, no one really has that much say. I mean, the project manager has a lot of say, but ultimately a good project manager will listen to the engineers, and the engineers should actually be not designing the use cases. They should be responding to use cases, but they should the engineers should be giving a lot of input on how to achieve those use cases, and potentially giving some suggestions along the way. But ultimately it comes down to what the client wants. But it's a lot of collaboration, and no one person really gets all the credit. Maybe the CEO of the company, just because it's really hard to reference all the developers. But if you're using an open source project, you're usually giving credit to that organization that you're borrowing it from. Or if it's licensed under one person or two people, then you're actually give credit to those people. So there's a lot of open source projects like, oh, credit to blah 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 guy, blah 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 guy who made this piece of software. So it's kind of funny, like software seems like normal and standardized to me. This sounds exactly the same, but they use a very odd process.
Well, funnily enough, the director doesn't have as much power as the main producer or the production company. Yeah. They have the power. Like if they clash,
goes studio, the production company, then probably executive producer. Then I would say, I don't know.
My analogy, the production company is almost like
producer still has more power than director, because executive producer is usually involved in multiple projects. So the producer will be heavily involved in that one project alone. Like, not to go into all of the different types, because there's a ridiculous amount you can get, like second assistant producers and all this sort of stuff. It gets very finicky.
That's why I was like,
I mean, you've got the executive producer, they've got their finger in many pies. So like Nolan, while he was working on the Man of Steel as an executive producer, probably would have been executive producing about like 3 or 4 different films at once, just because he can. Whereas the producer itself will just be working on the one film, on crafting it, being in every aspect of it along the way. And they have the hiring and firing power as well. Like if the director clashes and says, I refuse to shoot this thing, this scene unless we do this, this, and this, and the producer says, no, we can't do this, this, and this because of finances or because of time or because of this, the producer wins. Hands down all the time. I mean, a good producer will listen to the director's case and then see if they can find a middle ground and compromise. But ultimately, producer is the one who gets to say, no, screw you, we're doing it this way.
And I can't think of what film it was where there's, I'm sure many films where the director has gotten fired, but I can't for the life of me figure out what the popular one is.
There's one popular one in the 1940s, which was basically when they tested giving the director all of the power.
That's exactly
before this producer model came in, And the story of that is the director kept on making creative decisions because they are the creative force, whereas usually nowadays the producer is the business force, the sort of executive force that helps rein in the creative force, because obviously there's only a finite amount of money, really. And the director ended up basically just wasting all of the company's money and pretty much running the company into the ground.
Wow.
I mean, look at Han Solo, the Han Solo movie.
Man, if that movie's bad, it's gonna suck. So while this is all very interesting, this is also supposed to be a comedy podcast. So I suggest that we change topics. I think we got a good amount of interest.
Well, the more you know.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not really complaining. It's just like, I don't know. I just say
no. You're complaining. We're Americans. We don't do knowledge.
Well, yeah. Get out of here, you British guy.
No, man, you know what? Like, it's pertinent to what we're doing. We're watching movies, man.
Yeah, but we're not like
segued into that from Star Wars.
Guys, stop fighting.
Yeah. I don't want to get into an argument here.
Mom, Dad, stop. Papa.
Papa Waffles.
Just comb the desert, okay?
Yeah. Let's make some riffs about the movie that we're watching. Like we normally
How about
do.
rest in peace, John Candy? How about that? I miss that guy.
What's that?
Rest
You mean like this is the most natural
there he goes, right there.
book since 1976?
That's my guy.
Wait, what about What about me? What?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about rest in peace, as in rest in peace, recipes for 20 here, but you're not.
Did you say 420 or 120?
Well, I said 420.
Well, keep looking for them.
Because of my Discord name.
Yeah, that's an old joke.
Now, you know what? Now I'm just thinking about freaking little Stewie with that big helmet now. Thanks to freaking Family Guy. Like, that's all I'm seeing now.
Is Stewie with the big helmet a joke? Like a joke on a joke? Are they referencing this?
I didn't even think about that until right
they've
now.
Gone full meta humor.
Yeah, like unless there's like no, his head is big and that's just the way it is, which I can understand too. But I kind of like the fact if they're making a fun of Spaceballs. Oh man, that's real deep. That's some deep stuff.
That's a deep cut right there.
How do you use the pen tool in Photoshop?
With a pen, I hope.
I can't make it not do weird things. What do you have? Okay, I'm not going to use that. Moving on.
That's much too early. Prepare to fast forward. Prepare to fast forward. Fast forward.
You Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
VHS.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That was like the movie we watched last week, Taming the T-Rex. Like the video on YouTube that we found, someone uploaded to YouTube, has the FBI warning, which I thought was really hilarious.
No, go past this.
I also like that YouTube is not
great.
checking for the content, like the content matching on that movie because it's so old, I guess, or they can't, or they have a hard time because there's no digital source of it,
Or they just can't get in touch with the company that made it.
or the company that made it never cared or submitted it. That was kind of funny. So it's like, oh, cool, like this movie's on YouTube. Oh wow, no one's stopping them.
Everything that happens now is happening now. What happened then? We passed it. When? Just now. We're at now. Go back to then. When? Now. Now? I can't. Why? We missed it. When? Just now. When will then be now? Soon.
It's simple dialogue, but it needed this delivery.
Location.
Yeah, it's so good.
Good work. Set a course and prepare for our arrival.
There is a lot of pretty damn good jokes in this movie.
There's something about this movie. It makes me. You say Spaceballs, and it makes me smile and laugh under my breath because I know it's such a bad movie, but I love it so much.
You know, a lot of people would say this is the last time that Mel Brooks was on target. After that, people say he just went way downhill.
Some people would say it was also the end of Rick Moranis. He basically didn't do much after this, did he?
He kind of dropped off the planet. His wife got very sick and died, and he suddenly retired from filmmaking altogether to take care of her. Making a comeback. They're doing an SCTV live reunion in Canada, and he is appearing as some of the characters he did for that.
Does what was I gonna say? Never mind. I'll be back.
That's the wrong movie.
Speaking of Tammy and the T-Rex, the production companies that created there was two that created the movie. It was Platinic Films. Platinum. I don't know how to say it. And then Green Line Productions. That was the only movie they ever made before they closed their doors.
I've never heard of Tammy and the T-Rex, and just listening to you guys say that title over and over sounds like Tijuana Donkey Show.
Oh, well, it's not that.
It sounds like a very early form of Dora the Explorer, but...
It's a movie where Paul Walker turns into a dinosaur. And he's this girl's boyfriend. Long arms. And yeah, he has like the best arms. You could listen to our last episode where we make fun of it.
That sounds like the most believable role Paul Walker has ever done.
It's great. You can find it on YouTube.
Every single part of the plot sounds crazy. Everything that happens in that movie is crazy. It's literally hard to explain because you could say anything and you'd be like, "What?" Like
you could find our podcast, the last episode, on iTunes, and you can watch that movie on YouTube. I googled. I'm like, oh, Tammy T-Rex. Oh, it's on YouTube. Great. It's like perfect.
Am I a bad person because now I'm thinking the T-Rexes went extinct because they got behind the wheel of a Porsche with bad tires?
I think I made a joke about that during the movie somewhere.
But just remember, kids,
you're just as bad as me.
Brains exploding during stripteases works for Jared.
It works for Jared. That's
you know what? I've watched Futurama again recently, and he actually reminds me of Fry a little bit. Just with the way he is. Yeah. As in, like, just the way he acts is kind of dumb.
I never really thought about that.
And neither did I. It was just because I had it on the other day, and like he just repeats everything she says. Like, you know, nah, you're right, and all this sort of stuff. It just feels like Fry.
Fry from Futurama?
Yeah.
What did he get? What did he touch? What did
he touch? Yeah, maybe I see that.
What the hell was that noise?
That was my Virgin alarm. It's programmed to go off.
I gotta admit, this faux android is the most lifelike Joan Rivers has looked since the 70s.
All right, let's all just get some.
What do you think her OS is?
That's true.
Bitch 3.0.
It's still better than Windows XP.
This was for sure before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
Or was it? I love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, man. That's my movie. What about Ghostbusters?
So wait, what's this going on? Like, are Drake and Josh really not friends anymore, or is that just a joke people are making because?
No, they're actually not friends.
Yeah, he didn't get invited to the wedding, so he commented on pictures.
Maybe people are just making that assumption they're not friends, but or were they never friends to begin with, and people are just having a headcanon from the show, or did something really go down and they were friends and now they're not friends?
They must have either drifted or fell apart for him to not be invited to a bloody wedding. So it's obviously not just come out of nowhere, you know.
But was it
people are just seeing this post now and going, "Oh my god!" Because
you can actually see the lady's shoes sticking out from the bottom of that costume.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! That's amazing! I never noticed that. That's fantastic. That's almost as good as in Tammy the T-Rex when you could see the guy's head off camera operating the arms.
I mean, do I sense Jared's next cosplay?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. My God, please.
Do it.
I still got to do the vampire from Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, but I mean, usually cons last more than one day, so...
I don't know. I don't think he can pull off that wedding dress. He just doesn't look like a Jewish princess.
No, I mean the robot with his shoes sticking at the bottom.
Oh, I realize that. I really meant the wedding dress.
Did you see how they were walking? 4 of them were moving in unison while the other 3 were...
So, do you think they hired little people for this scene or hyperactive kids?
Bit of both.
Looking at their faces. I think they always do a bit of both to mix it up.
We didn't know what to do with them on the set.
Play with these kids. Play with these little kids. Show them around.
What they didn't tell you was there was an additional little person down the back of John Candy's costume running his tail.
Ew. Yeah, or they have a real dog in his pants.
By now, there had already been 3 deaths due to John Candy's costume.
Okay, he's actually just said, when did we get to Disneyland?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of scary.
Yeah.
They foresaw it.
When did we get to Disneyland? 2014. Thank you.
Yep. They should have bought the rights to this movie too, just because they can.
Yeah, I'm sure Warner Brothers would have had to fit.
What are you preparing? You're always preparing. Just go. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Yes, the freaking. Oh god.
We do.
It could have been repurposed from Scooby-Doo.
Try follow a bunch of people you don't know into a deep cave lit by torchlight. That's always a good move.
Well, they did just give you water when you were dying. They could have just left you to die. If you've got no other choice, then yeah.
Maybe they're trying to rehydrate you for the stew for all you know.
Come on, we're going to eat you. And then right here. Bye.
Now that's a man cave.
Could you imagine a Spaceballs D&D campaign?
Sure ain't Temple Beth is.
I think that's every
ruined our
D&D
next podcast.
That's every D&D campaign, damn it.
Was that what you were talking?
Oh my god, I'd sell
thinking
for
about, Jared?
No.
I'd sell
Oh,
for
now.
Telltale Spaceballs.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Oh my god, please.
It's perfect
Cue
for
for
it.
the this room looks like the queue for the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland.
Oh my god, it actually looks like Mailbox. The statue.
Yeah, he always does that, man.
And
How would that conversation go with the special effects people? I want you to make a 30-foot statue that looks a lot like me with a lizard's complexion.
He probably exactly said that. Oh my god. I said that backwards.
oh, right, see, you guys pronounce it yogurt. It's yogurt. I'm sorry.
Yogurt.
It's yogurt.
It's
Yogurt.
Yogurt.
You
Yogurt.
pronounce it however you like. I just call it leftover cheese.
Isn't it pre-cheese?
That just sounds dirty, Jared.
It's like, don't.
I don't even know how.
I don't want.
I don't even know how they make half the things they do with dairy products.
Oh, who's here?
Magic, pure magic.
And Miss Callie is here.
Oh well.
Hey, baby. She's not even here right now, so that's cool.
She's
at
not
her sister's.
at your house, but she's on in the podcast.
She's at her sister's, so that's why.
Oh, that's pretty great then.
Merchandising? What's that?
So her showing up is literally on her own.
Like on her own, not
Yeah, and tell her.
coaxed by you.
Yep. Like she's never coaxed by me.
See, this scene is like Disneyland too. There's a gift shop at the end of the ride.
like when she's here, I'll be like, "Oh, you're gonna show up at movie night? We're doing that. We're watching this tonight." And you know,
Am I cracked out, or that coloring book? Is that a Transformers coloring book with a different title?
Oh my god,
Where's
it
that?
is.
In the background?
It was up to the left, to the left.
Oh,
You might see it again.
That coloring book.
I even got a Spaceballs blowgun flamethrower.
Is it bad that I actually won one?
yeah, that thing's ugly.
Look online. Look online. Somebody look online. See if they got one on eBay.
I'm sure it's probably it's
Well,
really
yeah, but it's
expensive
gonna
on
be like-
eBay, I'm sure.
Yeah, a cult item now. Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe there's an Etsy.
President Screw,
True.
I have an urgent message from Lord Helmet.
Of all the directors, who do you guys like the most that's shown up in their own movies a lot? Like between Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith. Trying to think of some other ones that have done that a lot.
I was going to say, if you talk about Kevin
Shyamalan.
Smith films, he knows exactly how much dialogue he can handle. None.
Shyamalan.
He does. His Silent Bobs.
We were told to calm the desert, so we're calming it.
Just looking at this. Were they supposed to do another one? Another Jay and Silent Bob?
Yet, sir.
They're doing a reboot.
How is
The single
that
best
even
spin in the
possible?
movie.
Not a thing, sir.
How are you? Or is it like being made fun of
What about you
a
guys?
reboot by doing a reboot type of thing? Like a meta sort of. Like if
It's a
they're
little-
still Jay and Silent Bob, then it's still their thing, and they're just making fun of. They're doing a remake or something. I don't know.
He's trying to find younger actors to play the roles. He says that since reboots are all the thing lately and someone's going to give him money to do it, why the hell not?
Could somebody reboot my life?
I don't think where we put the delete button.
You can read it.
Well, I mean, you said you were going to buy me breakfast, so you can press the delete button yourself.
Okay, but I got to warn you, I get deep in USB ports.
Jared was not here. Jared was not here.
I was not. I'm missing so much context.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious. And I told them to stop.
Well, I'm glad that like you four know it, and me and all of our listeners have no idea what you're talking about. Good.
It's good. Inside jokes are the best.
Yeah, they're the best. They're the best when you're trying to like market to an audience of thousands.
I'm sure the audience gets what we're talking about.
Why would they understand more than me?
Because they're smarter than you, Jared.
Oh, that may be true, but
you do have nothing to say to that.
I don't. I'm not smart enough to make up a comeback.
I wonder what made them choose the name the Schwartz.
I think
they just basically chose. Well, no, because like it's the German word for black, isn't it?
Oh, that's true. You're right. I never thought about that.
So I don't really understand why they're basically essentially just calling it the black.
Maybe it's the one German joke Brooks fit into the script. Those are pretty pervasive in his films as well.
Perhaps. Oh my god. You wouldn't catch me in shorts like that.
It's no use, sir. We're searched everywhere. I feel the presence of
Okay. Sorry, I know I've said it a lot, but Jared, costume for con, please.
I was just thinking it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly like that in the safari costume, just with a giant helmet like that.
That hat is.
I'm looking at Rance right now and thinking it's. Dennis was wearing rompers like 3 decades before it was cool.
Yeah, but is he hipster enough to turn around and say, when it is cool, can't be wearing them? You know, they're too cool now.
Wearing those horn rimmed glasses forever. So yes, he is.
Well, glasses are no longer just a dork thing, I guess now. Like it's actually a cool thing too. So now, actually, you gotta have slightly glasses, I guess, somewhat. They just can't look like, what the hell are you? You're wearing glasses or whatever. I don't know. I know what I'm talking about, but
what about people wearing glasses? I have pair of glasses that.
Oh no! Here it comes.
I'm saying
my glasses.
Here it comes.
Can I ask you guys? What did they skin to make that bed? Because they have not seen an entire animal in 2 days.
That's right.
Boff has to come from somewhere.
There's a Chewy. Does that count? Or whatever his name is in the movie.
Boff. That's his name.
Where are you going?
Poke holes in a Mel Brooks film was like sticking your finger into Swiss cheese, but still.
Yes, my dear.
We refresh.
Would I lie?
Ooh.
Daddy. Oh, no, Bespin, don't. Ah! No.
Take them both aboard and put the princess in my quarters. Yes, sir. Now she is mine.
If this film had any more cheese in it, it'd be a bag of Cheetos.
I do love cheese.
Cheetos aren't very cheesy though. Doesn't make any sense.
My lactose intolerant self eats. That's a lot of cheese.
Okay.
Do you guys have What's-Its over there?
No. Well, what's that?
If you shop in the right shops, yes, you do.
It's basically just a cheesier version of Cheetos.
Oh. I just want they make it Pirate Booty is basically Cheetos, but they're no dye. I guess they're white. I want hot, flaming hot Cheeto fries that are white, no dye. Why can't I have that?
Well, that's very, very specific.
It is.
You gotta make them.
But it's also why are flaming hot Cheetos the only hot Cheeto-like product? Yet you have these other knockoff ones, but they all focus on cheese flavor. I want the hot flavor.
Write them a letter.
Started
Write them a letter. They will read it and they will cry and hear your plea.
I should okay, I have a guy on Facebook who writes to his politician every day about like Trump or something like that, and it's pretty impressive. It's kind of funny. I should write to Cheetos every day. I should take up the same plight, but to the Cheetos company. Please make a Cheetos that doesn't die in my hands, and then every day I'll make up like a sob story about how it affects my life, and it's making my life so hard.
I'm more impressed that Kraft has managed to convince an entire country that Velveeta is food.
Well, let's face it. I mean, 90% of what anyone eats in a Western country should not really be classed as food.
Yeah.
Not arguing that in the least.
It's like that first picture, rest in peace, posted in the chat with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches should be classified as dessert. There's nothing but sugar. Delicious. But I remember I used to eat them all the time as a kid, and now I go, oh my gosh, so bad.
I hate them. I actually cannot eat peanut butter and jelly together.
What
I
about...
can eat peanut butter sandwich, but I maybe add like honey or something, but I can't eat it with jelly. It's just too gross for me.
Can you eat jelly on its own and peanut butter on its own? You just don't like them together?
I can eat jelly on toast with butter, but I can't eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just
do you ever toast the bread and then put peanut butter? Okay, so here's how you make the best peanut butter jelly sandwich.
It goes again.
I did this on the stream a long time ago. Here is the instructions to make the best peanut butter jelly sandwich.
That was like my first stream, I think.
It probably was, because this is a long time ago. Here's how you do it. You take the bread, you toast it. I prefer more of a light toast, so just slightly brown. You don't want real toast, but you want nice warm bread. Then you get peanut butter, your preference of crunchy or smooth. Smooth kind of works better for this, but I also like crunchy a lot myself. You spread that on the fresh hot bread. The heat of the toast helps spread the peanut butter. It melts a little bit. You put it on both sides, on both pieces of toast. This creates a barrier from the jelly from soaking into the bread. So you have two pieces of peanut butter, and then you put... I like to put just like a big drop of jelly in the middle of the bread, and then I'll put I won't even really spread it much, and I'll put the bread, I'll close it, and then I'll press along the edges, creating a seal of peanut butter, and then it creates like a pocket of jelly, and then I kind of squeeze the middle of the jelly to try to kind of spread it out, but ultimately I want it sealed in there so it doesn't come out like the backside when I'm eating it. Now you can improve this recipe. That's the base recipe. Now you can improve it by adding banana, or like swapping out the jelly for honey, or I like to add even a little bit of chocolate powder because it's like Reese's peanut butter and chocolate, and that's really good. Or you could do all of that. You could do peanut butter with chocolate powder and jelly and bananas and honey, and that's the super deluxe version. But that's
I love how you catered that. You catered that towards me a little bit in there, and it made me actually want to try it out now.
This section of UpDownLeftDie is brought to you by Subway. Subway, our mascots don't molest children anymore.
Hang on. They've already had a Jared for Subway. It did not end well.
I could be so if they can do a reboot, and they can reboot it with me, and I'd be like, hey, I'm not like the last guy.
Yeah, but do you really want to be known as Jared from Subway?
Well, see, that's the thing, though. It'd probably ruin my brand, but it might relaunch Subway's brand. So,
welcome to the new Subway reboot with new Jared.
Yeah, new Jared. I'm not like the old Jared.
I don't like kids.
I don't like kids. I hate them. I hate your kids. Don't bring your kids to my stupid restaurant scandal. Damn it! We went too far to the right.
Subway starts serving alcohol
in films. Well, here's a reboot in Jared.
Reboots are hot right now.
Speaking of serving alcohol at restaurants, do you know there's a Taco Bell in Las Vegas that has like a full bar? It's a nightclub.
It's like a special Taco Bell.
It's the first experiment. They want to open a series of those across the U.S.
I love Taco Bell.
That'd be awesome.
I personally like their food, but I absolutely love like their marketing and their crazy the recipes that they make. They're just like, well, what if we put a taco inside of another taco? Market it. Go. Then it's a thing. It's amazing. You're such dumb ideas.
But the funny thing about that is like
Arby's social media is the best thing in the world.
they think think of those ideas, but we have had those ideas for years, and they're just not doing it and selling it to us in a decent product. That's basically
Arby's is
like the Doritos and freaking and burritos. Like we've been doing that. Like that's long ago, and now. Like, I don't know how other people were treating it, but that's how I saw it. I was like, that actually is a step down for me because...
I like it. I think it tastes good. It's just they're expensive.
They're more expensive than that? That's crazy.
They're not worth the price to me.
To each his own.
Because my thing is, like, their normal tacos are like... You can get a taco for, like, 69 cents or whatever. And then those Doritos Locos are, like, $1.50. I'm like, well, you just added quote unquote nacho cheese and you're charging me like a lot more for it. It's not really worth the price. Although I do think they're good.
Yeah. I like
oh
those.
My God. Those the cinnamon
I
bites.
I don't think it's genius to dip taco shells in Dorito dust and tell me it's worth another 75 cents.
Exactly. It's like it should be like 30 cents at most. But yeah, I heard those cinnamon. Yeah, I heard those were good. I keep forgetting to try them.
Oh my God, they're my life.
The other thing, crap, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh well.
I don't know. I'm a Freebirds
Did we
guy.
get like serving alcohol in cinemas from you guys?
It's happening out in like some of the more ritzy cinemas out here. You know, they have a button in the chair. You push the button, and a waiter will come out and take your order.
Well, my thing is like, so like I think who did it first was like the Alamo chain, like in Texas. There's like ones that have that like alcohol, but now over here in California, it's AMC who does it. There's AMC that has
does AMC actually does it?
AMC in Fullerton, and then there's a different one. You just got to look it up, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that have the reclining. A lot of them are like this. There's like two sides to the theater, or at least the one in Fullerton's like this. One side of the theater is super awesome motorized reclining chairs, and they're really cool because there's like in sets of two, so or like 2 or 4 or whatever like that. But like so there's like a lot of space. You can recline, and people would still walk by in front of you, and like it. So there's a lot of leg room, reclining seats, awesome, motorized. You hit the button, you go down. You hit it, you sit up. And then
you go to downtown AMC where there's gum on the seats and crap all over the floor.
Exactly. And then the other side of the theater at Fullerton is that they're not reclining seats, but they're still really nice. And then there's a menu, and like a guy comes back around right before the movie starts to ask if you want anything, and then there is like a button to call the guy, and then he'll come and take your order.
That's still good, man. What the hell?
It's expensive. It's expensive, but not insanely expensive.
Well, yeah, but think about it this way, right? Not only can you overpay for your tickets, but you can now overpay for alcohol to get drunk to be able to forget the movie that you've just overpaid for.
That's why I don't.
Why would you want to do that?
Oh, but there is a ton of theaters that don't necessarily do that alcohol in the theater like thing. But there's even more theaters that do have a bar in like the lobby. I've seen that more often than like, oh, you're able to go and get food. I don't know what theaters do that. There's like a lot of Regals, I guess, that have that. Like, oh yeah, there's just a bar there, but they don't serve you in the movie. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to take it in the movie. But while you're
like in my mind, it's almost like in my mind, it sounds like a good idea, but also a bad idea because I'm thinking about being someone who maybe doesn't want to drink that day, and it goes into the theater and it smells like beer or somebody else that spilled theirs or something like that. Like if they don't find a way to sort of rectify that to where it doesn't smell like someone has already been drinking in there, then
absolutely. Also, I've only done it. I've only been in like the ones where you could eat like once or twice, and it wasn't really an issue like for me. But yeah, like the smell of alcohol like pisses me off like a lot. Like it smells so bad.
If you're not drinking already, like it's something that you don't really.
Personally, don't care. I don't drink, and I don't feel like paying $20 for a tub of popcorn, so I usually eat before I see a movie.
Yeah, I don't drink either, but I don't know. Popcorn's not $20. It's $15 for the combo. It's whatever. To me, like that is definitely that's definitely one of my weak spots though is popcorn. Like I have to get it. Like,
buckets are worth it.
Yeah, the buckets are worth it.
have popcorn, but then with
pattern is like Disneyland snacks. They give you something light and salty, so you feel like getting a drink. Then you get a drink, so you feel like you need to eat something. So you eat something, you need to get another drink, and I don't do either.
That's why you get the large you get a large cup pop. You buy the bucket for the year, and then you have free refills on the pop and the bucket.
So that's why I don't drink soda either. It does nothing for my hydration.
Yeah. Well, I like to get the bucket popcorn. I'll eat it. I won't go get the refill during the movie because that's completely insanity. But then I'll get the refill on my way out, and I'll take it home, and then like my family and me will pick at it for like 2 or 3 days, and I love that so much.
Not bad.
Like,
not my speed. I just go to Del Taco, order like $5 worth of food before a film.
I just take my own stuff in.
Yeah, I like sneaking stuff in too. I'm not against that.
We don't even have to sneak stuff in. I think that they can't monopolize like sort of cinema food over here. If I'm like not mistaken, we can just walk in so long as it's not like hot meals and everything like that. And you're walking in with an actual meal. You can go in with like packeted sweets and stuff, and no one really cares.
See, wouldn't that be the dream? You're walking into Wonder Woman carrying a whole like pepperoni pizza with you. Yeah, it's no big deal.
It's crazy, man, because like the ones I used to go to, Del Amo and Rolling Hills, actually had never done that, and suddenly they started doing a lot of things like reserved seating and that. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I just brought in like something from Starbucks, and they wouldn't let me bring that in. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, the movie's about to start, and telling me I gotta throw this away, so I had to try to sneak that in. And I'm like, that's ridiculous.
The AMC that we have here in Ohio, like Northeast Ohio at least, they don't allow like the hot foods or whatever in the theater, except like nachos and stuff that they sell. But and they have the reclining seats.
Water.
We were sitting there and watching Wonder Woman.
Water. And
they have all sorts of like reserved seating, and the people were sitting, like a bunch of kids were sitting in the wrong seats, and they refused to get up, and they had to bring a police officer. Like, they delayed the movie to bring a police officer inside the thing and escort them out.
That's insane, but also, what the hell?
I was like, what is happening right now? I just want to watch Wonder Woman.
Like, that had to be a bad experience for a lot of people just because of that one freaking thing. Like, are they serious? Like, don't say something.
And there was so many open seats. That was what blew my mind.
Wow.
There was so many open seats.
Yeah, most of the places.
The people that were mad about the whole thing weren't even in good seats. It was the first row in a AMC, with reclining seats where.
Yeah, that's weird.
The only time there's ever really a problem like that over here is we have had people do that before, but if the seats aren't booked or people aren't coming in still to pay for them, they don't mind people just sitting in the more deluxe versions, like the VIP seats or the recliners or whatever you want to call them, because they just want customers to be happy. So first come, first serve. If there's no one sitting there, sit there. You know, it doesn't really matter.
That's the nice thing about the AMC here, is that they're all reclining, like all the seats in the entire theater.
That was one of my things. Is like when Chipotle was like new. I remember sneaking like a Chipotle burrito to a movie, and that was like one of the best things like ever. Just like chowing on a
never done
burrito.
that.
Have any of you been to a Dolby theater yet?
A Dolby? No, I have not.
AMC Del Amo, I think, has one now, and I'm gonna see Spider-Man like that.
They have one at my AMC, and it's.
Is it dope? Is it good?
Oh, it's so amazing.
I would imagine at least the sound should be really good.
There is a subwoofer. There is like I don't know if it's like a subwoofer, but there's some sort of like thing that like whenever the bass hits, it vibrates your chair.
That's fun.
Ooh.
Oh, so it's 3.5D.
How
that's what they class it
cool. It's
because they were saying like they could achieve 4K and stuff like that, like with the screen, and I'm just trying to see like what's up. Because they used to have like
actually I sat in a Dolby for Wonder Woman. Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, that's actually where I went too.
How was it? Please share your experiences.
I was out at the AMC, the Promenade off Topanga Canyon Boulevard. I wasn't looking for anything special. I just needed to watch it ahead of a podcast review.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I take that back. This is a Regal. I thought that was AMC.
I just happened to be at a Dolby. I still would like to try a 4D film, but those theaters are few and far between, and I'm not driven to get to Los Angeles to do that.
One.
Yeah, I really
I don't
want to try
remember
one of
where I
those.
tried it, but it made me so sick.
Really?
I think there's one. Yeah, there's one in LA, and Tiffany's been like, "Oh, we should go there." I don't remember what movie, but we haven't gotten around to that yet.
It was because the reason why
I saw The Last Airbender, so
that's right. I saw Moana.
You saw what?
I saw Moana in 4D.
How the heck
I got
did that make
so
you
sick.
Was it too much?
They act when they were on the sea, when she was on the sea, the seats would like move.
Way.
You were on the waves, and I got seasick.
That's so weird.
Seasick
That's
in the
so
movie
weird.
theater.
That's weird for you, like who actually has VR, man. That can sort of experience.
That's not a story you can tell in like mixed company
different.
either. That's not a story you can tell in mixed company because somebody asked me, so when was the last time you felt ill? When I went to see a Disney movie. Close the
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I don't know where any of these companies at all. We don't have any of those.
Yeah, I know we're probably just like, oh, they're gonna. I hate when people reference a company I don't know exists. Like, I never really knew about the Alamo theaters, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And so now we must just be a whole cluster of like name, and you're like, I have no reference point.
Well, the main theaters
Carmike
over.
Cinemas out in Cali.
What's
That's how
that?
I feel when people start talking esports in front of me.
I said, do they have Carmike Cinemas out in California?
No.
See, over here we've got Odeon and View.
Well, I think we have a View, but I'm not sure. Or am I thinking about the show? I don't know.
And then
Well, if that's the case, we don't want the View. They can keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, View over here isn't spelled as you would think. It's VUE.
Nope, we don't got that.
PlayStation View. You're talking about that. That's
Oh,
what you're
maybe.
talking about.
Yeah, maybe that. Is that it? Is it like a?
It's just a company that runs cinemas, a cinema chain.
It was like a year ago, but PlayStation had a commercial that made me laugh so hard because they're like, if you had a force field, you would use it, right? Well, PlayStation View. And it was like something for that. And I was laughing because I'm like, essentially what they're saying is, hey, you guys have PlayStation View. How come no one's using it?
Why would I use a force field too? Like just.
They're like, if you had one, you would use it, right? If you have one, you would use it. You had this amazing special technology. Why not use it? They're essentially going, people, how come no one wants to use our service? How come you guys aren't using it?
I worked with the public. I'd use a force field.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't touch me. Go away.
Seems like it should be standard for a public toilet.
I just like that they admitted no one's using their service. That's essentially what that commercial told me.
All I care about is that I hate that they are not doing big things for the PlayStation Vita because I still have one and I still love it. And games still come out, but they just don't. For a long time, they hadn't been doing that whole AAA thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where's our Gravity Rush 2? What the hell is PS4 getting it for? That's what I was pissed off about.
I read a pretty funny blog where someone was interviewing, like, I don't know, like the lead guy on the Vita project or something like that, and he was like, really like snarky to him, and he was like, oh, so like when are you guys releasing like a game? And they're like, oh, we're coming out with a. He's like, oh yeah, so you guys aren't even like using it anymore. He's like, I would beg to differ. We're releasing 110 games this year. He's like, oh, when was the last time you guys released a game? It must have been over like a year ago, huh? And the guy was like, yeah. And he's like, well, what was it? And where he was like, whatever. And he's like, what was the last game that you released? He's like, oh, that dog game. I forget what it's called. And he's like, oh, wow, that's a real good one. He's like, please don't talk down about that game. My daughter loves it. It was like the best.
Where was
it was like
this
an awful
interview?
Let me find it. It was awful.
That sounds like an outtake of an interview that did not get aired.
Yeah, but essentially it seems
I'm too much.
Go ahead.
And I see your.
I was gonna say I'm too much of an a-hole. I'd look at that guy and just say, "Our next game coming out is ban this dickweed from E3. You're gonna play it a lot."
Exactly. But it essentially seemed like they kind of PlayStation Vita kind of fell off the tracks, and it sounds like they're trying to reboot it this year. I think with all the new games, so maybe you might get your wish with a bunch of stuff.
They're not going to come out with a full reboot of it because obviously with the Switch and Nintendo's market on the handheld, they're still worried, but they're not going to give up on it completely because obviously that would be the biggest middle finger. So.
Like Nintendo right now only they only have like 2 games that are like huge. Like I have a Switch right here. I have a Switch and a Vita, and I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
They need more games. They need more games.
You can't compare either of them at the moment, given that
that's true. I give you that.
The Switch has only been out for a few months. You know what I mean? Like Vita has had years. So come back to me when
I didn't even know the Vita was still like a thing. Like I thought it was like, yeah, we're done. Like I thought, like they retired it, but nope, it's still a thing. I thought it was
games. They always release games for it, like all the time. It's just like it's mainly mini games and indie developer stuff.
They don't market it at all.
And JRPGs, they never you see a bunch of PSVR commercials though, right? Like they market that, but we don't get any more like Vita stuff. So,
I don't understand.
I don't know.
That VR is getting that push. VR in territory,
Yeah, I don't know why they've got all that VR push either, because it's not actually profitable at the moment. Like, it's still on that margin, so God knows.
So here's the interview.
I think because Vita's had its time,
So here's the interview. It's Game Central speaks to Sony Europe's president about the fate of PS Vita, new IP on the PS4 and microtransactions. So the Game Central's. I remember the first time I spoke to you was at the unveiling of the PlayStation 4 a year ago, last February. Yeah, it seems like 100 years ago, says the J. So this is GC and JR. GC is Game Center, and I don't know what JR is, but I'll do that. Game Center. It certainly does. It's so. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today is not specific to Sony at all. It plays Microsoft, Nintendo, because unfortunately you haven't done badly enough on your own, so I have to put all the evils of the game industry on your plate, and then some laughter, and then he put. Oh man, this is really long. Let me skip to the part that's really funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, right off the bat, the guy's already being like snarky.
Control F and find.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the part I was talking about.
PS Vita.
I thought this was a lot shorter.
I'm surprised they haven't done something to make the Vita like a VR headset, like many things. Like they could have.
Yeah, like a Galaxy thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Like maybe it's not powerful enough because that's pretty old tech. But anyways, here's the good part. Game Center. Well, I don't think you're going to like this question either. Are you going to make another PS Vita game? JR. Well, you must not have been paying much attention at all last night because it was stated that over 100 are in production right now. GC. 100 in production? So what happened last year then? You must have had 0 in production then, given how many have come out recently. What was the last big Sony first-party title for the PS Vita? PlayStation Pets. PlayStation Pets? Oh boy, who could forget that one? My 7-year-old loves it. Please don't be disrespectful about PlayStation Pets. Has Sony give up on the PS Vita? No.
I can't.
Oh gosh!
I just the one guy's clearly being a jerk, but his defense that his daughter loves it is not very strong.
If that was a sketch show, the next thing you hear would be a slap, and the guy would just launch across the interview table.
Exactly. So I
feel like he needed that though. He needs that because he needed to know that people are still interested in Vita. It was the king, and freaking just kind of like shat on itself, man. Like so many people believed in it, and they were like, they had crossplay with PlayStation All Stars. You know what I'm saying? Like they did that with the Vita and the PS3 version. Like that was pretty awesome. They had Gravity Rush. That was the first game that they, or the first console they released that game on, and then it went to PS4. But I don't know, man.
Why is this music necessary?
I know. It's like the Ghostbusters moment where they're taking care of the ghost. Oh, and there's the freaking.
Just this riff stands out so weirdly compared to all the John Williams-esque riffs previously in the film. So.
What?
Like, what was that?
Who's that guy?
The bearded lady.
They had a 3-ring circus on the ship.
I can tell you, I don't remember that part.
Just assume their gender.
Yeah.
They didn't visually show the 3-ring circus. They referenced it being suspended when they went to ludicrous speed.
Oh god.
You don't notice the bear penis when you sit down, huh?
This ship will self-destruct in 20 seconds. This is
F.
your last chance to push the cancellation button.
Cancellation button? Hurry!
It is funny that you are the last one off of this ship. Because in the movies, Darth Vader was the first one to escape.
Fuck! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8.
Towards the end of this movie, 3 men share a loving embrace on screen. In 1987, very progressive.
There's the other end! Faster!
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Oh, but they can't really be bad guys if they've got manners.
I don't know. I mean, the British were the villains in every Star Wars film, so.
No, we're the villains in pretty much everything that you guys have been making recently.
Why are you guys such jerks?
Not James Bond, my brother.
That's true.
That's because that's not an American production.
Yeah.
If we had our way, oh man, James Bond would be such an evil person.
Oh come on, if you guys did James Bond would be the villain.
Well.
I was about to say, if Americans had their way, guys like Game Dork and I would be out in a field somewhere.
Damn it, man. Good thing I know how to do music, though. I would be out of that field in a second. Wait, guys, look. I have songs.
All right, you could come inside and entertain us.
Quick, learn how to make beats, too, so I can bring you along.
I'm not being funny, but if any one of us in this channel here was Pizza the Hut, we would meet the same end.
What? Oh, wait, I'm so confused.
Being locked in a car and eating yourself to death.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like, everybody here would meet the same demise, wouldn't we?
Well, at least weight control would be super easy.
Well, yeah, but I don't understand, actually. If you're eating yourself, does that sort of like automatically go back to yourself?
I don't know. Something tells me I digest pretty easily.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, you would maintain the same weight to some degree. But if you're actually digesting yourself and you're converting it to energy and heat, then you actually would lose weight.
But the big thing you guys
the
are
same
missing...
way a car uses gasoline.
No. The main thing you guys are really missing is that are we a hot pizza that's always hot, or are we cold? Because I don't like cold pizza, so I probably wouldn't eat myself.
To be fair, I think the crucial thing to mention is, do we have pineapple on us or not?
Oh, because if I had pineapple, I'd just kill myself.
I don't know. If I had pineapple on me, I'd probably eat myself, generate more BTUs, and then create more power for the Matrix.
No, if I had pineapple on myself, I'd be very, very depressed.
You know what would be great? It's a Matrix spoof, but there's like script kiddies in there. So you do see like a piece of pizza walking down the street because they modded the game. And then there's a guy just like walking through the walls and stuff, and they're like, I got a trainer, I got a cheat trainer. And then you're like, okay, you're like, this game sucks. Everyone's hacking in it.
I think I'd laugh my balls off if one of the agents showed up in a Pikachu mask and just started yelling Pika-Pee every time he pulled the trigger.
Can I get that out of my head? Thanks to my kid. You can thank her.
Look, it's got a mind of its own, sweetheart. I can't do a thing with it.
Girlfriend's purse.
So nice how in the future there's a 50s diner.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be a 50s diner. You gotta.
I wonder how many hoops Brooks had to jump through to get John Hurt to do this for this movie.
Oh, don't talk about John Hurt. Comedy podcast.
He played in Alien, so.
Yeah, I almost met the guy a couple of times, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was the patron of the film festival that I work at, and every year. And unfortunately, he fell ill the year that I started. So every year he was supposed to come and never did.
It's your fault.
No. What you can say is I'm the replacement for John Hurt. And there's some pretty big, shoes to fill. So.
Oh my God, he regenerated from John Hurt. How much do you remember?
It's the alien.
You're like the Doctor.
Cameo,
like the John
crossover.
Hurt Doctor.
Crossover and cameo.
Well, it's a spoof. It's not really a cameo or crossover. It's a spoof, and that's what what it is.
That's ET. It's ET incarnate right there.
No, it's not. It's Alien.
No, it's not. It's the frog from the old Looney Tunes.
Oh, there you go.
So weird. You're not even moving your mouth to the words.
Sure, yeah, I want to have an alien spoof and make it dance across the counter. How high are you exactly?
Yeah. What?
Guess me, Dick. Audience will love it. I don't think he did, though. It sounds weird, but it's so weird. Like, today's comedy is that, though, now. Just weird, random. What the hell was that, man?
I know, but this kind of proves that it's always been like that.
It's just people needed to get stupider.
Well, just now it's done in cartoons.
That's so weird. Cartoons are better than a lot of live action stuff now.
Go to 2 conventions next month. Jeez.
That's
You know what? I wouldn't mind like a Rick and Morty live action with visuals like this. Like really cheap and nasty, and it's cringeworthy. I think it'd suit their universe.
We might get an episode where they do that. They have to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a live action episode.
And what if they got what's his name? The actual
Christopher Lloyd?
Yeah, that would be
dope. Full circle meta. That would be awesome.
But what they do?
I'm a prince.
They do murder somebody next life.
There could be a princess in your future.
They get.
Now, if you want to get back there before she marries Sleeping Beauty, there's a special can of fuel in your glove compartment. Good luck, boys. Buy yogurt and yogurt. Thanks.
Why is his name Yogurt?
Because he's a parody of Yoda.
Okay, it's really lazy.
It's a Mel Brooks film.
How can we make fun of Yoda?
Apparently he was looking for Shakespeare this evening.
Yeah, what is this low-class comedy here?
Yeah, because we've obviously been treated with such high-class comedy the past hour and 25 minutes.
Probably really bad for the engine to just pour random things into it.
Well, movies and things like Back to the Future have shown otherwise.
It just proves my kids are right. Everything runs on candy and glitter.
It's gonna land on the Planet of the Apes, isn't it?
Well, El Matador Beach, anyway.
You know what? They better thank their lucky stars that they survived a crash like that, because, 30 miles an hour can kill.
Yeah, they should have been dead. Instead, you're on a planet of monkeys.
Yeah, so in a lot of movies, they're like in spacecraft and they crash and like into trees. And I do not understand how that works.
See, this just makes me want a real crossover of some of these things, though, now.
Jared, how could you not know how that works? That's all midi-chlorians. We all know that.
Oh, yes, in every movie.
Have we gotten to this point in the Planet of the Apes movies? I haven't actually been watching like the past.
The reboot? No.
Yeah, we have. So we're still.
Yeah, like the next one is like
barely started riding horses in the second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still not wearing clothes.
I didn't think it was important. May I continue, please? Besides,
That's gonna be weird for them. Oh, it looks like the humans were right. We needed clothing.
Well, we would have started it much sooner, Dr. Zayas, except it's very hard to fling poo when you're wearing pants.
That's true.
Not if you practice.
You gotta do it with a flick of the wrist like this.
See, that just proves apes are more like humans than anyone cares to admit. Nobody wants to take the trouble to unzip their pants, unbutton, pull down so they can grab the poo and throw it and then pull it back up and rebutton. It's too much time. We're going to give up one or the other.
They would make a compartment back there, like a little opening that you just slide it open. Then
just, all you need to do is get some custom pants, and instead of having them chapless, it's basically just the middle. Just
just fall
easy access.
That's it. No more chances, but to make a short version. Prince Valium, do you take Princess Vesper to be your lawfully wedded wife? Princess Vesper, do you take Prince Valium to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I'm sorry, but if your fiance ever says, "Well, I suppose,"
I'm done. I'm done right there. Get out.
Hey, to be fair though, I'll take what I can get. So.
Yeah, you're already doing better than Kim Kardashian's first wedding. I mean, geez.
Honest to God, Prince, will you marry me?
Well, let me think about it.
It's nice to know that Lone Star had an entire royal wedding outfit somewhere in his closet.
Marry somebody today.
A royal wedding. I am going.
And Lone Star went from doing all of this to hunting ghosts, retiring to a. He's from Casper.
There are certain movies I refuse to watch, sir.
Casper, the one with what's her name from Addams Family in that one?
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, goodbye, Virgin Alarm.
Why would no stop? Close your eyes. No. Why do you? I hate when people. I hate when people kiss with their eyes open. It's so creepy.
Oh, I was.
But to be fair, if you hate that, how would you ever know? Because you're the one with your eyes closed.
I open my eyes to make sure that their eyes aren't open,
or that they don't have the knife in their hand, at the very least.
Are you looking at me?
I've been married for 12 years. Take nothing for granted.
Did your wife say, "I suppose"?
I suppose.
Will do. I think was the phrase used at our wedding.
Could you imagine that? Do you take him to be a lawfully wedded husband?
Look, she's a 6-foot Irish redhead from Texas. I'm going to follow a lot of things she says.
Good enough for me.
I'm like 5'8", so that dwarfs me.
Yeah, I'm 5'7". Whenever somebody asks me, what's it like marrying a tall woman, I just look them right in the eye and say, I like to climb.
I like to climb. Why are you saying
that is whatever they get.
Who's taller, Game Dork, you or Crystal?
Me?
Okay. You don't even know.
Me? I never really had to think about that, but I'm trying to think about.
But don't you look at that person often, and can't you just be like, wow, like in my memory, I'm looking slightly down or I'm looking slightly up.
That answer was as definitive as I suppose.
I know.
Basically.
Hang on, do you just take rest in pieces thing and make it the extreme? Not only do you not look while kissing, you just don't look.
I don't look at all.
Full stop.
I don't know if you're attractive or not, but I like you as a person, so I'm going to keep it that way. It's a gamble.
You sound good.
It's a gamble to look.
She sounded hot, so
Yeah, and I want to keep it that way.
Just sounded good. It was just love at first.
Why you Sounded hot, and I want to keep it that way. That's why you never meet your phone sex operators.
Exactly. People never
do that
like you expect them to.
Let me ask you,
especially on online dating.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I look exactly as you expected.
Actually, that is true. To some degree. Slightly different, but you're like at least 80%.
Good percentage, I'll take it.
Makeup design by
I should know about people lying in their online profiles.
Hello.
Because you guys, at least Jared, I think Pseudo knows.
Yeah.
I don't think you told me like details. Unless I don't remember.
Yeah, so, well, short story is I met this chick on OkCupid, and like wait for me is not like that big of a thing, but when you look about 150 in your picture and you show up and you look about 400,
that's when you say that's average for the internet.
Yeah.
I was actually, weirdly, I was discussing this earlier today, so that's how strange this is, right? Not your specific thing, rest in peace. Like, I'm not saying I discuss you behind your back. No, it's just one thing that I take issue with is the fact of when people go out of their way to make themselves look different in an online profile. So they will do close-ups and high angles and all this sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I don't like
every
that.
one
It's
of
like
their pictures.
You look at the first picture and you swipe left and you're like, that's a different person. What the hell? Like, it's not a different person.
Exactly.
Like, God, you made it look so different. Like, why you're lying? You're only delaying like disappointment on one or both parties.
I love it.
But think about that. That has to feel horrible to be that person that lied about it, and then the person came, and you have this hope in your, I hope they can just accept me because they talk to me a little bit. I would have a connection.
But I would never just based on the lie. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
It can almost
like,
go in the
don't
other
go through
direction.
the deception.
And I'd be like, well, you lied still. That's really odd. Because then I think I immediately go, when I hear stories like that, I immediately go, they are
untrustworthy.
Impulsive liar. What is it called? Someone who can't stop lying?
No,
that's
compulsive
liars.
Yeah, compulsive liar.
That's right.
Compulsive. There you go. That's all I hear. I just go, that person's crazy. To some degree.
Well, look, that makes sense to you, but all these people that place these false heads in their online profiles, their thought is, if I can get away with this for 15 minutes, I might get laid.
Yeah, maybe.
And to be honest, I think that it's about overcoming confidence issues on their part, but I think it is still very selfish. Like, they've got these confidence issues, but I'm not being funny. Everyone has confidence issues. Like, we all have things that we don't like about ourselves, and the only options that we've got are to work on it, become better, or try and like rectify it, or be open and honest and then hope people accept us. There is no in between there. Like, you can't just pass it off as nothing and pretend it doesn't exist, only for it to rear its ugly head down the line and people go, oh, wait, shit, here we go.
Or post enough hate-filled bile on Facebook that our betters look worse by comparison. That's the internet for you.
All right.
There's no reason to lie though at all today, man. Like, everybody can find someone for everybody. Remember back in the days when dorks couldn't find other dorks, nerds couldn't find other nerds. Now Comic-Con exists. You know what I mean? Like, you can go there and find somebody that will exactly like you. So it's no excuse to say more.
Oh, you're visiting my hotel room. Okay.
We do have to sometimes lie to preserve people's feelings, and that's why I tell Jared that his stream is fantastic.
Because I don't lie. That's right. You're complimenting me not lying. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fantastic because I don't lie. Yeah, that's what you're referencing, not that you lie about the stream.
Yeah, that's totally what's going on here. Yeah.
So this is a terrible note to end the podcast, but I am going to end it right here on this topic.
Oh no! I planned it. I planned it so that you ended it on that.
Okay. Yeah. This is how it's going to be. So this was interesting. We didn't discuss the movie like at all for more than 15 minutes. So I hope it was at least interesting, if not funny. Did not plan for it to be on the 30th anniversary or whatever of Spaceballs. So I think that was really cool. This was actually recommended by Coder Geek 42, who did not show up. Even though he said he was going to be late, he just did not come to his own party. He was so excited. He was so excited that he's like, oh, we recommended it. And I was like, yeah, we're going to do it. And he didn't show up. So calling you out on the podcast when you listen to this episode, I'm calling you out on it. Yeah, I don't know what, I actually didn't decide what next week is, but I'll definitely post that in the description of the podcast and let you guys know what it's going to be. I'll try to get this up. Obviously, you're listening to it on Tuesday. I'm trying to keep it on Tuesdays. If I don't hit Tuesday as the release mark, I'm going to do Wednesdays. Tuesday is a bit hard for me. I might move it to Wednesday, but so far I feel like I'm doing all right at hitting that mark. Again, so I'm Jared from UpDownLeftDie. Tiffany couldn't be here, unfortunately. And we had with us, if you guys want to go through the list again, starting with Freight.
Okay. I am Freight. I host the Rolling 20s podcast on missionstarpodcast.com.
And this was Game Dork of Game Dork Plays, aka Nonsense, aka Dork Genius.
And Pseudoscopic, a freelance writer.
Rest in Peace 120 or Rest Peace 420. Filmmaker, streamer.
All right, and yeah, I wanted to plug our stream on Monday, but by the time this comes out, it's already gonna pass. So never mind. So as you're listening to this, we had Chris Villain.
Wait.
What?
Plug Thursday's stream, homie.
But there's nothing special about Thursday's stream. Monday's stream.
You're still gonna be streaming Thursday.
Yeah, well, we stream Mondays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. But what happened Monday? I'm in the future now. We had YouTube star Chris Villain on our stream, and it was amazing. We got 10,000 follows. I'm saying it now so it becomes true. This is how time works. It was amazing. But anyways, you might want to check out that.
Didn't lie.
I'm not lying. This is the truth. If you guys want to check out that live stream, it's on our YouTube channel somewhere on there in our full stream where Chris Villain's on there playing VR. That's gonna be really cool. That's kind of it. So I'll see you guys. Thanks for stopping by or listening, and thanks for those who came to the real stream. We'll be continuing with the post-show TV shows. And again, if you want to be in on the podcast, bufferbuddies.com or is how you get more. I'll take you to our website where there's more info, or you can directly get into our Discord, discord.me/UDL.